Well, good morning, everybody. It's Mr. Moderman here. This time you do not need to look at my face, so maybe some of you are happy about that. But what you're looking at is an online version of Twelfth Night, and beginning in, as you can see here, Act 4. I asked you to read Act 4 for today, and maybe some of you have done that. Wonderful. Maybe some of you haven't. And if you haven't, then you can read along with us today. I'm going to take you through Act 4. It's a very short act, and basically the entire process is to set up Act 5, where Shakespeare, what he does basically is tightens the knot a little bit more in Act 5 and then begins to loosen it and resolves the conflicts. So basically, if we start up in Act 4, we're at Olivia's house, and I'm just going to walk through it here real quick. Remember, at the end of Act 3, there was a duel between Sir Andrew and Cesario. That was our second subplot, and that was interrupted by Antonio, who thinks Cesario is Sebastian. And then there's a short duel between Antonio and Sir Toby, but then the officers show up, arrest Antonio, and take him away. He believes that Cesario is Sebastian and asks for his money back, and that causes a conflict as well. But in the process, he calls Cesario Sebastian. So now Cesario believes that maybe our brother is alive. Well, indeed, we know he is alive with the dramatic irony, and that's where we are at the beginning of Act 4. You can see where I am. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I've just backed up here a little bit. Basically, the act opens up. It's before Olivia's house. Festi has been sent, it seems, to get Cesario, and he, instead of Cesario, intercepts Sebastian. So just like Antonio confused Cesario and Sebastian, Festi does as well. Or we could ask, does he, or is he just playing around here? Let's look at the language here for a second. Festi says, will you make me believe that I am not sent for you? And Sebastian says, go to, thou art a foolish fellow, let me be clear of thee. Basically, Sebastian's saying, I don't know who you are, you're not sent for me, leave me alone. Well, held out in faith, no, I do not know you, nor I am not sent to you by my lady, that would be Olivia, to bid you come to speak with her, nor your name is not Master Cesario, nor this is not my nose neither. Nothing that is so is so. It's interesting that Festi says this here. Nothing that is so is so. Indeed, that's what we've been seeing throughout the entire play, that nothing that seems to be really is. So is he saying that, is he telling the truth here? Is he honestly believe that this is Cesario? Or is he just playing around? We don't know. I think there's a couple different ways to interpret it. So, but he says, this is not my nose neither. He would probably point to his nose at that point. Sebastian replies, I pray thee vent thy folly somewhere else. Thou knowest not me. You don't know me. Vent my folly. He has heard that word of some great man and now applies it to a fool. Vent my folly. I am afraid this great lover of the world will prove a cockney. I pray thee now ungird thy strangeness and tell me what I shall vent to my lady. Shall I vent to her that thou art coming? Right? The clown's like, listen, are you going to come with me or not? Right? You're going to come with me or not? So, Sebastian says, leave me, right? Leave me alone. I pray thee, foolish Greek, depart from me. There's money for thee. Oh, that's what Festi's really after. He gives them money. If you tarry longer, I shall give worse payment. He probably taps his dagger at that point or holds up his fist, basically saying, I'm going to beat you up. Festi replies, by my troth, thou hast an open hand. These wise men that give fools money get themselves a good report after 14 years' purchase. So, Festi's happy. Now, just as they're having this conversation, Sir Andrew storms onto the scene. Now, remember, if we go back to the end of Act 3, right? Sir Toby, after Viola denies, or Cesario denies Antonio, Toby says this, he is a very dishonest paltry boy, more coward than a hare. His dishonesty appears in leaving his friend here in necessity and denying him. For his cowardship, asked Fabian, and Fabian says, a coward, a most devout coward. Now they're referring to Cesario. He's a coward. Look how he denied his friend, right? And left him to be arrested by the officers. Right? Andrew says, slid out after him and beat him. So Andrew wants to fight again, even though he's just gotten, made a fool of himself in this duel. He wants to fight again. So here he shows up again. He thinks this is Cesario, and he says, now, sir, have I met you? There's for you. And he punches Sebastian. Now, Sebastian is completely confused, right? First of all, he's got this clown asking him, right, you have to come with me to meet Olivia. And now he's being punched in the face by this stranger. Well, Sebastian is not Cesario. Sebastian is not going to take this. So he stands up and says, why, there's for thee, and there, and all the people mad. Basically, he lays Andrew out. There, and there means he punches him 3 times. Toby grabs him, right? Says, hold, sir, I'll throw your dagger over the house. And Feste's watching this whole thing and says, okay, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. This is what I tell my lady straight. I would not be in some of your coats for 2 pence. So he leaves. Toby says, come on, calm down, Sebastian, calm down. And while he's trying to restrain Sebastian, Sir Andrew is on the ground and says, nay, let him alone. I'll go another way to work with him. I'll have an action of battery against him. If there be any law in Illyria, though I struck him first, that's no matter. I mean, Andrew's a complete moron. He comes up and hits Sebastian, attacks him. Sebastian retaliates, defends himself, but he says, I'm gonna sue you. Sebastian says to Toby, let go of thy hand. Toby says, no, I will not let you go. Come, my young soldier, put up your iron. You are well fleshed. Come on. Sebastian says, I will be free of thee if thou darest tempt me further. Draw thy sword. So he breaks loose from Toby and draws his sword. Of course, Toby isn't going to take that, and he says, what? Nay, then thou must have an ounce or 2 of this Mellapart blood from you. They begin to duel. So Sebastian and Toby begin to fight. Now remember, Feste has left, and he's gone to get Olivia. Well, Olivia shows up while they're dueling. Okay, this is a problem. Because Olivia, just like everybody else in this scene, thinks that Sebastian is Cesario. She comes in and says, hold, Toby, on my life I charge thee, hold. Toby stops. Now Toby really gets it. Olivia says, will it be ever thus, ungracious wretch, fit for the mountains and the barbarous caves where manners never were preached, out of my sight? She just completely berates Toby. Out of my sight, get out of here. Then she turns to Sebastian and says, be not offended, dear Cesario. And then this is to Toby, Rudesby, begone. She tells him, leave. Now look at what she says to Sebastian. Remember, she thinks this is Cesario. I pray thee, gentle friend, let thy fair wisdom, not thy passion, sway in this uncivil and unjust extent against thy peace. Oh, I'm really sorry this happened to you, that you were attacked this way. Oh, poor Cesario. Go with me to my house, and hear thou and hear thou there how many fruitless pranks this ruffian hath botched up, that thereby thou must smile at this, right? Toby's an idiot. Let me tell you all kinds of funny stories about how he screws up and he's drunk all the time. Thou shalt not but choose but go. Do not deny. Beshrew his soul for me. He started one poor heart of mine in thee. So Sebastian, one moment, is being berated by this clown. Secondly, he's attacked by these 2 knights. And now he's got this beautiful countess doting all over him, asking him to go back to her house with him. He says, okay, I'll go. What relish is in this? How runs the stream? Or else I am mad, or else this is a dream. Let fancy in my sense and let thee sleep. If it be thus the dream, still let me sleep. Olivia says, nay, come, I pray thee, wouldst thou be ruled by me? Which is pretty direct, right? Sebastian turns to her and says, madam, I will. I'll let you interpret that, right? Be ruled by me. What is she saying? Well, she's really interested in him. Olivia is so excited. Oh, say so and so be. Right? So she's very excited about this because now she feels like Cesario is finally acquiescing to her advances. Now remember, this isn't Cesario. He's not doing this. This is Sebastian, a completely different person. Now, the next scene is at Olivia's house as well. Now, remember, earlier, I'm not going to scroll all the way back because it would take me a ways to get back, but after Malvolio makes his presentation to Olivia, Fabian and Mariah say, hey, I think we should just tell him what happened. Tell him that we tricked him. And Toby says, no, come, we'll have him in a dark room and bound. If you go back to Act 3, you'll see that's what Toby says, right? We will carry it forth for his penance, right, and our pleasure. This brings in that theme of excess again, right? How far is Toby willing to go? We're going to see in scene 2 how far he is willing to go. Because what he has done is he's actually had Malvolio committed to an asylum, if you will. He's locked up, right? He's in a dark room and bound. And they're trying to make him think that he's crazy. The problem is, as we'll see in this scene, is Toby is in trouble now. Olivia just went after him in the previous scene for fighting with Sebastian, who Olivia thought was Cesario. Now, so this scene opens up, and Mariah is with the clown, and the clown is going to be part of this trick, continuance of this trick on Malvolio. Nay, I pray thee, put on this gown and beard, make him think that thou art Sir Topaz the curate. Do it quickly, I'll call Sir Toby the whilst. Basically, hey, pretend you're a priest. Remember, they didn't have psychologists in Shakespeare's time. If you were losing it, right, if you were having some sort of a mental problem, the priest saw you because they thought it was all spiritually based. Feste replies, well, I'll put it on, and I will dissemble myself in it, and I were the first ever dissembled in such a gown. I am not tall enough to become the function. Well, basically, I'm not as tall as the priest, nor lean enough to be thought a good student. But to be said, an honest man and a good housekeeper goes fairly as to say, a careful man and a great scholar. So he says, hey, there's things I can do that would make me look like a priest, and there's things that I can't do. But I'll do my best, right? Toby walks in and says, Jove bless thee, Master Parson. And the clown responds, Buenos dias, Sir Toby, for as the old hermit of Prague, that never saw pen and ink, very wittily said to the niece of King Gorboduc, that it is. So I, being Master Parson, am Master Parson, for what is that but that, and is but is. Right? So he basically saying, I'm playing the part. I'm not actually the priest. So Toby says, go to Malvolio. The clown walks up to what would be a dark room, maybe, where only he could, there would be light coming in, but Malvolio is basically locked up. And he says to Malvolio, as Sir Topaz the priest, what ho, I say, peace in this prison. And Toby looks and says, oh, he counterfeits well. A good knave. Feste's really good at this. Malvolio responds, who calls there? Sir Topaz the curate, who comes to visit Malvolio the lunatic. Sir Topaz, good Sir Topaz, go to my lady. Right, Malvolio wants the priest to go to Olivia, because Olivia doesn't know about this. Now look at his response. Look at Feste's response. Remember, he's pretending to be the priest. Out hyperbolical fiend, how vexest thou this man? Talkest thou nothing but of ladies? Feste's up to his old tricks, right? He takes everything the other characters say and he turns it around. Now he's taking Malvolio's words and he's turning them around, right? Oh, you're only speaking of ladies. He's basically going to exorcise the demons, out hyperbolical fiend. Toby's complimenting him while he's watching. This is Malvolio's response. Sir Topaz, I never was thus wrong. Good Sir Topaz, do not think I am mad. I am not crazy, he's saying. They have laid me here in hideous darkness. Fie, thou honest Satan, I call thee by the most modest terms, for I am one of those gentle ones that will use the devil himself with courtesy. Sayest thou this house is dark? Now watch how Feste plays on this, because Malvolio says, this is dark in here. They put me in this dark room. Malvolio responds, as hell, Sir Topaz. It's as dark as hell. And look at what Feste says. Remember, he's pretending to be the priest. Why, it hath bay windows, transparent as barricadoes, and the clear stories south and north are as lustrous as ebony. Yet thou complainest of obstruction? Well, if you know what ebony is a dark wood. It's the black keys on the piano. Okay, he's playing around with him in this phrase. It's this the windows are not they're transparent as barricadoes. The clear stories to the north-south are as lustrous as ebony. It is dark. Right? It is dark. This is a dark room. And Feste's just twisting the words. Malvolio responds, I am not mad, Sir Topaz. I say this house is dark. The clown says, or Sir Topaz says, Madman, thou errest. I say there is no darkness but ignorance, in which thou art more puzzled than the Egyptians in their fog, which is definitely true. Malvolio is completely confused. He doesn't know what's going on. He's been really, really fooled. Malvolio, I say this house is dark as ignorance, though ignorance were as dark as hell. And I say there was never man thus abused. I am no more mad than you are. Make any trial of it any constant question. Okay, so he says, hey, test my wits. See if I have reason. So Feste asks him a question. What is the opinion of Pythagoras concerning wildfowl? That the soul of our granddam might happily inhabit a bird. Basically, that if you die, you can come back as a bird. What thinkest thou of this opinion? Malvolio says, I think nobly of the soul, in no way approve of his opinion. Basically, I don't think that you're reincarnated into an animal. Now look what Feste does again. Fare thee well, remain thou still in darkness. Thou shalt hold the opinion of Pythagoras, ere I will allow of thy wits, and fear to kill a woodcock, lest thou dispossess the soul of thy grandam. Fare thee well. So again, he says, you should believe this that could happen. If you kill a bird, you might be killing your grandma. Okay, obviously this is ridiculous and not true, but he's playing with Malvolio. Malvolio is desperate. Sir Topaz, and then Toby responds to him. My most exquisite Sir Topaz, nay, I am for all waters. Maria says, you could have done this without the beard and the gown. He sees you not. Basically, the idea that there's so much light coming into the room where Malvolio is, and it's so dark in it that he can't really see out, and Feste really didn't need to disguise himself. Now look at what Toby says. To him in thine own voice, and bring me word of how thou findest him. He says, go to Malvolio as Feste, not as Sir Topaz. I want you to tell me, is he really okay? Has he completely lost it? If he has, we're in trouble. I hope that he's still stable. I would we were well rid of this knavery, right? I want this trick to be done. If he could be conveniently delivered, I would he were. For I am now so far in offense with my niece that I cannot pursue this with any safety this sport to an upshot, right? So let's stop here. Okay, don't worry about the next line. We'll look at that in a second. He basically is saying here, right, go to Malvolio. I hope he's still got it mentally. If he doesn't, we're in trouble because I am in trouble with Olivia. If we can get him out and just let this whole thing, go away, that would be great. This is such an important quote, though, again, showing the theme of excess here. Toby pushes this trick so far, and now he's really in trouble. He's in trouble with Olivia because of the duel with Sebastian, okay? And now he's going to be in trouble with this whole thing with Malvolio. She loves Malvolio. Malvolio is important to her. But then he turns to Maria and says, come by and by to my chamber. Now, in many versions of the play, you'll actually see Toby grab her hand, sometimes even kisses her, right? And brings her back to his bedroom. Remember, we've already suspected that there's something going on between Toby and Maria here, right? And this is an indication of that. So Feste comes in singing, hey, Robin, jolly Robin, tell me how thy lady does. Malvolio hears him and thinks, oh my gosh, it's Feste. Now remember, Feste is his archenemy, but he's desperate. He yells out, fool. The clown continues to sing, my lady is kind and pretty, and he yells out, fool again, and he continues to sing, here, alas, why is she so? He's just pretending to walk around and sing, fool, I say. So Malvolio is trying to get his attention. She loves another, who calls? Now remember, Feste is pretending that he just came on the scene, right? He hasn't been there before. Malvolio says, good fool, if ever thou wilt deserve well at my hand, help me to a candle and pen, ink, and paper. As I am a gentleman, I will live to be thankful for thee. He wants light, because it's dark in the prison. He wants a candle, okay, so he can see. He wants a pen and ink and paper, so he can write a letter to Olivia to show that what has happened to him and to get out. The clown, right? He knows this is Malvolio, but he's still pretending, Master Malvolio. Malvolio responds, yes, it's me, right? I, good fool. The clown, alas, why? How fell you beside your 5 wits? Why are you in the asylum? Why are you in the prison? What's going on here? Fool, there never was a man so notoriously abused. I am as well in my wits, fool, as you are. But as well, then you are mad indeed if you be no better than your wits and a fool. Again, even though Feste, right, isn't the priest anymore, he's still playing around, right? Oh, if you're no better in the wits than me and I'm a fool, then you're definitely crazy. Malvolio continues to make his case. They have propertied me here, kept me in darkness, sent ministers to me, asses, and do all they can to face me out of my wits, right? They're trying to trick me into thinking I'm crazy, but I'm not. Advise what you say. The minister is here. Malvolio, Malvolio, thy wits the heavens restore. Endeavor thyself to sleep and leave thy vain bibble babble. Okay, it's interesting here because what happens here is Feste then pretends that Sir Topaz showed back up. And what's interesting is Malvolio can't see outside of the prison, right? So now what Feste's going to do is pretend that he and the priest are there. But Feste's going to be playing both roles, all right? So when he says Malvolio, Malvolio, the wits, thy wits the heavens restore, he's pretending to be the priest. He does it in a priest voice, maybe in a different voice, right? Now Malvolio thinks the priest is back, Sir Topaz. Maintain no words with him, good fellow. Who, I, sir? Not I, sir. God be with you, good Sir Topaz. Marry, amen. I will, sir. Right? So this is the priest, right? In priest voice. This is Feste's voice, right? Right? This is Feste's voice here. And then they go back and forth. Malvolio says, Fool, 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 I say. Alas, sir, be patient. What you say, sir, I am sent for speaking to you. So Feste says, I'm not supposed to talk to you. The priest just told me I'm not supposed to talk to you. So Malvolio says, please, good fool, help me to some light, some paper, and I tell thee, I am as well as my wits as any man in Illyria. Well, the day you were, sir. By this hand I am, Malvolio says, good fool, please, right? Please, Feste, some ink, paper, and light, and convey what will be set down to my lady. Shall I advantage thee more than ever for bearing the letter I did? He basically, this is so humbling for Malvolio to have to ask Feste, his arch enemy, the person he doesn't like more than anybody, to help him, right? We'll talk about this later. This is an interesting theme about, about conceit and pride and being humbled. Feste says, I will help you to it, but tell me true. Are you not mad indeed, or do you but counterfeit? Again, he's still playing around with him. Malvolio says, believe me, I am not. I tell thee true. And at this line, he's probably almost in tears at this point. He's so frustrated and desperate. The clown says, nay, I'll never be a madman until I see his brains. I will fetch you light, paper, and ink. So he says, I will do this for you. Malvolio responds, Fool, I requite it in the highest degree. I pray to be gone. And Feste leaves, and he sings as he leaves. And the scene ends with him singing, I am gone, sir, and anon, sir, I'll be with you again. And you're not going to get me to sing the whole thing, but that's kind of how it goes. Now we have one more scene in Act 4. It's a very short act. And this last scene is just Sebastian and Olivia. Now, Sebastian is trying to figure out what is going on. He's in Olivia's household. Olivia's been doting all over him, and he thinks maybe he's losing it. So if we read this next passage, let's just look at how he tries to figure out what's going on. One moment he's being attacked. The next moment he's got this beautiful countess doting all over him. Sebastian says he would be on stage by himself. This is the air. That is the glorious sun. This pearl she gave me. So Olivia gave him a pearl. I do feel it and see it. So basically he's saying, I'm breathing air, I'm feeling the sun, I'm not dreaming, right? I'm awake, I'm alive. And though 'tis wonder that enwraps me thus, yet 'tis not madness, right? He doesn't think, I'm not crazy because I have my senses. But then he asks a good question, where's Antonio then? I could not find him at the Elephant. Well, we know that Antonio's been arrested. Yet there he was, and there I found his credit. So he had arrived at the Elephant and put money down, or put credit down to get the room, but then he left, and then he, of course, got involved in the duel with Cesario and Andrew and Toby in Act 3. He's thinking, well, his counsel might now do me golden service, for though my soul disputes well with my sense, that this may be some error, but no madness. He's like, this doesn't make sense, right? And indeed, it is an error, right? Olivia thinks that he is somebody else. Yet doth this accident and flood of fortune so far exceed all instance, all discourse, that I am ready to distrust my eyes and wrangle with my reason that persuades me to any other trust, but that I am mad, right? I must be losing it because this doesn't make any sense that this woman would come out of her house and be all loving all over me and give me a pearl, right? That makes no sense. Well, Then he thinks, well, maybe she's crazy. Maybe Olivia's crazy, or else the lady's mad. Yet, if it were so, she could not sway her house, command her followers, take and give back affairs with their dispatch with such a smooth, discreet, and stable bearing as I perceive she does. There's something in it that's deceivable. Indeed there is, right? So he says, Olivia can't be mad because everybody listens to her. If she was mad, people wouldn't listen to her. Her house runs so smooth, and he probably is looking about and seeing servants doing things. Well, there she comes. But the lady comes. Here comes Olivia with a priest. Uh-oh, what's going to happen here? She says, blame not this haste of mine if you mean well. Now go with me and with this holy man into the chantry by, there before him and underneath that consecrated roof, plight me the full assurance of your faith. What? What is she asking him? What is she asking him? She is asking him if he wants to get married, right? Very progressive here, right? A woman asking a man to get married. That my most jealous and doubtful soul may live at peace. He shall conceal it whilst you are willing it shall come to note. What time we will our celebration keep according to my birth. What do you say? Will you marry me? Well, this is completely crazy. They've known each other just a matter of hours, right? Well, not Olivia. Olivia thinks they've known each other for some time. Sebastian says this, I'll follow this good man and go with you, and having sworn truth ever be true. He says yes. Why does he say yes? Well, what would you do? You were stranded in a foreign land. You've lost your only companion, Antonio. He's gone. You were being attacked. This beautiful, rich countess is all over you. And she says, let's go get married. Well, he might be thinking about something else, right? We'll leave that unsaid, but you can probably figure it out. Olivia responds, then lead the way, good father, and the heavens so shine that they may fairly note this act of mine. They're going off to get married. And some of you are going, okay, this is completely crazy. So now Olivia is marrying Sebastian thinking that it's Cesario. I told you Shakespeare is going to continue to tighten this knot, and he does it some more in this scene. Okay, so we have, right, a fight between Andrew and Toby. Toby gets in trouble. Toby continues the trick on Malvolio, right? Malvolio finally, right, gets Festi to help him out after humbling himself before Festi. And Sebastian and Olivia get married. So that's where we are in Act 4. Hopefully this helped you with an understanding of the language and the events and the things that happen in Act 4. I want us to read Act 5. I'm going to be posting something on Schoology for you guys to read Act 5. Act 5 is a long one, and we'll do something similar, but we'll probably do it in chunks, okay? Because it's a really long scene where Shakespeare tightens the knot some more, makes things a little bit more complex, but then finally resolves all of the issues. Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you soon.